Now, it's time to meet the players of college sports today and get this show started. He's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a first-round NFL draft choice, and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame as both a player and coach. He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's a rare two-time SEC Player of the Year and spent over a decade in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Matthews. And presenting the host of the show, with over 25 years of sports broadcasting experience, Terry Norvell. Coming to you from the College Sports Today studio, it's time for College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell.
Coming out of that weekend, we got to hit the ground running. Coach Steve Spurrier's here, Shane Matthews, Terry Norvell. Glad you're with us here, College Sports Today. Everybody watching, everybody on the podcast as well. Guys, we got to get right into it. We got a million things to cover, and I know the Hall of Fame college football coach, the Heisman Trophy winner, the superstar from the SEC, Shane Matthews, the well over a decade in the NFL. My football guys, I want to talk some tennis right out of the gate. Let's go. Tennis, Coach.
Okay, I was down there in Orlando. Coach Shelton actually had me talk to the team
really?
a year and a half ago. And I talked 15 minutes or so. But anyway, I said, when you guys play for the national championship, I'm going to be there. And it's simply down in Orlando, a couple-hour drive. So Jerry and I drove down. And the women's national championship went about 2 hours longer than it's supposed to, and they didn't kick it off to about 10:15, something like that. But what a match, what a match. We certainly didn't play our best early in the doubles. We lost it, and we're behind in 3 crucial individual matches. And then somehow or another we turned it around. Ben Shelton, he's sort of the motivating guy on the team. He yells, let's go, let's go. And I be dang, the whole team just picked it up. The fans were sensational, too. We had about 1,000, 1,500 Gators there at least, screaming and yelling. It was like a football game. So I thoroughly enjoyed watching it and watching guys compete their hearts out. And to win the first ever tennis national championship in school history, we started playing in 1940.
How about that?
So this was the first one.
How about that?
You watched it, didn't you?
Shane, you came in raving about it.
It was one of the best sporting events I've ever seen on TV, and Brian Shelton's the first coach ever to win a national title in women's tennis and men's tennis, and to do it with your son, who should have been going to the prom this past weekend at Buchholz. He graduated early.
How about that?
He graduated early, and this dude is a big left-hander at 6'3", athletic, and as Coach said, he plays with tremendous energy and fire. And it was, I'm telling you, if you don't really watch college tennis, it's totally different than professional tennis, because it's not, the little clap after every little. I mean, it's a rowdy crowd, and they're doing chants, and it's like Coach said, it's like being at a football game.
Wow. So Florida wins their first men's tennis national championship, another national title for the University of Florida, another national title for the SEC. You guys were raving about that event. It was something.
It was really neat. Jeremy Foley was there.
Okay.
Jeremy hired Brian Shelton to come here, I think 9 years ago. And, of course, Scott Strickland, so both of our ADs, current and former, were there. And it was just a wonderful occasion to win the first ever men's national championship. Tennis is a big sport. In fact, in my family, my Uncle Bob Spurrier in Charlotte was a tennis pro at Charlotte Country Club, and he was a great amateur player. He got all kind of trophies. And so as a youngster, we always stayed at his house in Charlotte, so I always looked at those tennis trophies. He had them all over the place, Shan. He was good.
Yeah, it was a big time for Florida tennis, SEC sports. Wonderful weekend of NCAA softball regional action. The softball is a couple weeks ahead of baseball. Baseball, SEC and baseball across the country is heading into their Power 5 conference tournaments. Let's start with softball. The SEC sent 12 teams. 12 schools went to the regionals in women's softball. 7 won and 5 lost. What about the performance that Florida, Alabama, and Missouri, 3 of the 7 SEC that won? Did you guys realize those 3 schools, programs in softball, they all went 3-0 and didn't allow a run. Did not allow a run. Florida threw a no-hitter. Missouri threw a no-hitter. Florida nearly threw 2. Boy, very impressive weekend for the SEC. And Florida. Florida sets up a matchup with Georgia in the Supers. Florida, Georgia.
Yeah, I was out there. It's it's probably not Tim's most talented team offensively, but defensively, they made 2 of the best plays I've ever seen in softball, and I go to a lot of games. Hightower throws her first no-hitter yesterday, but as you said, Georgia comes here. We pretty much take care of Georgia, and they upset us. I think it
16. In 16.
2016 when we were going for the 3-peat.
Yes.
They had like a walk-off home run or something, in the 7th. So should be fun. But, the SEC's dominant. We have a chance, I think, for 5 teams to go, 5 SEC teams to go. Definitely will be 2 there because we're playing Georgia. Alabama's playing Kentucky. But, Arkansas had a good weekend as well.
Yeah, really did. But, again, Florida, Alabama, Missouri, they all 3 coach in their region, their regional. They all hosted. They all won their regional 3 games in a row. Didn't give up a run. Florida throws a no-hitter, and Hightower nearly threw a second no-hitter, right? She went deep into the game, Coach, and they pulled her out to go lefty on lefty. Hell of a weekend of softball for the SEC. Just good stuff.
Yeah, and I guess the baseball tournament starts this week.
Tomorrow.
It starts
Tomorrow. Gators scuffled a little bit, but boy, I don't know how much you can blame Florida scuffling. They wouldn't play the best team in the country. Arkansas might not win it. It's hard to win tournaments, as y'all know. It's hard to win tournaments. Arkansas is the best team in the country in baseball. They are really, really good. Let's get back to softball. So the super regionals in softball are set now. They'll get started. And Evan, if we can throw that up real quick, they'll play either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or some Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Evan, we'll throw it up, and I'll pull it up here, guys, so we can take a peek at it real quick. So here's the rundown with the supers here, if you guys can see that. Florida and Georgia will be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, it starts at 5 on Friday.
Yeah, 5 o'clock on Friday. And then you see the rest. There's 4 of them. So most of them are Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a couple that will start on Thursday. Tennessee had a disappointing one. James Madison on a 27-game winning streak goes into Knoxville and knocks
somebody on his podcast picked James Madison to win that.
Who?
Some guy sitting at the
How did you know to do that?
Because the Dukes are good every year in softball.
Is that right? So
they can pitch.
Alabama will host Kentucky. That is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You look around, Florida State will host LSU. That's a Thursday start this week. So as you can see, 16 teams are left, 8 super regional sites. As we bring it back here, guys, staying with Florida and Georgia, though, Shane, you mentioned it, and Coach. Florida wins their back-to-back softball national championships in 14 and 15. So they're going for a 3-peat. They're at home in 2016 in the Super, and Georgia beats them.
Yeah, that's
bitter pill to swallow from 2016.
Yeah, that's the team that has 2 girls that are on the USA Olympic softball team, Aubrey Monroe and Kelsey Stewart. Yeah, it was a huge upset.
Yeah, that was something. It was a very, very painful walk-off, I think you said, Shane, if I remember right. Girl hits a home run. Now, Florida and Georgia in softball obviously played this year. They played a 3-game set. It was in Athens. Here's how it went. I don't know if this is a precursor. Georgia won the first game this year. They won 4-2, guys, over Florida in Athens in softball. Florida won game 2, 17-1. Florida won game 3, 8-1. So Florida lost the first game in Athens this year in softball, and then beat Georgia in 2 games, 25-2. 25-2. Georgia's pretty good though. They played Duke, and it might have been the best game of the weekend. 10-9 Georgia. It was back and forth. But I know you guys are raving about tennis. I know y'all feel the same way. That damn women's softball is a fun game to watch in person or TV. Shane, you were there?
I was
for
there.
A game or 2?
I've been to Oklahoma City twice, and it's a great environment there. It's a lot of fun, and should be a good crowd. I mean, it wasn't packed yesterday, but I believe for the Super Regionals, that thing will be packed.
I think so. It was something. And as you said, the way it'll play out, the SEC still has, what do we say, 7 teams still alive in Super Regionals, but 2 Super Regionals have SEC versus SEC. And then 3 other teams. So 3 could go off and win from the SEC, and we're going to have 2 no matter what. They could have 5. They could have 5. If it broke right, the SEC could have 5 of the 8 that go out to Oklahoma City.
A couple of years ago, they had 4 of the 8.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Is that right? Coach, you got a whole thing we got a lot to get to before we get you out of here at the bottom of the hour. You got a whole list over there. We'll make sure we get to your stuff. What else you got going on?
Well, just congratulations to Newberry.
Yeah, how about that?
They won their first state title ever. I think they beat Chipley, right, Shane, in baseball. So that was neat for Newberry to do that. Of course, men's golf yesterday. What's interesting to me, Terry, is age 50 is supposed to be old. You know, the senior tour, you get on it when you're 50.
Yeah.
And I started thinking back, when I was 50, I played golf as well as I did when I was 30 or 40. Actually better. And I actually shot 70 when I was 65, Shane. And so my golf declined at about age 71 or 2. That's when my arthritis kicked in.
Yeah.
But Phil Mickelson, in my opinion, can play at his level for, gosh, maybe 4 or 5 more years or more.
Another few more years.
He outdrove
Koepka
on that 16th hole. Unbelievable. He hit one about 330 or 40, whatever it was. So there's no reason in the world, with the short game he's got, and he can hit it just far as ever. I mean, he's right there. The reason he hadn't won lately, he just didn't putt, didn't chip, didn't.
Yeah.
But I like his style. Yes, you know, he's got that 2 metal. He hits a lot because he can hit it straight and keep it in play. And guys that can hit fairways and got short game, they can play a long time.
Shane, he got Mickelson. Was it 18? He got in that thick stuff behind the green, that real thick stuff, and you're sitting there going, I know he's got a short game, but boy, that grass tends to grab that hosel sometime, and that was his final. If he could just punch that sucker out, if that grass doesn't grab that club and do something crazy, and boy, he was relentless. But boy, Koepka, as competitive as he is, I know, what was it, around hole 10 or 11 yesterday? He was missing 3.5 footers.
Well, he putted horrible on Saturday, too.
Is that right?
And he just didn't putt well. He's usually a pretty good putter. He's a really good ball striker, but just didn't putt well Saturday and Sunday, and obviously that hurt him. You got to make putts.
You got to putt. Yeah, Louis Oosthuizen probably hit the ball
was
better.
Playing well yesterday.
Hit the ball better than anybody in the tournament, but he just could not make putts.
Louis had a very questionable drop on Saturday.
He did.
Remember that?
What was the issue?
Well, it was a hole. Phil snap hooked it off the tee into the water, and then Louis faded one into the water.
Okay.
Mickelson couldn't decide if his crossed land or whatever, so he re-teed. But Louis went way down there and dropped. And the people on TV were like very.
I was going to ask, were they talking about it? Yeah. What's the deal? You have to guesstimate where you're guesstimating where it went in.
Last cross land.
Yeah.
And then you got to take your 2 club lengths and drop.
Don't you kind of have to get a nod from your playing partner?
Yeah.
So he signed off on it. I guess that's kind of. I may need you to help me out somewhere.
You know, I want to, since we're on golf, I got to ask Coach this, because Coach, you're big on rules. I love rules, and I think that's why golf's the greatest sport in the world, because you don't throw a 75-yard touchdown pass and then the line judge calls the left guard for holding. But I've never understood, you know, you get a drop if there's a drainage area or whatever. I firmly believe when your ball goes in a divot in the fairway that you should get a drop. Don't you think?
Yeah, I do too. But they just have not.
They've never
changed that rule.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That's terrible when you just
sometimes
crush one right down the middle of the fairway, and you're happy. You hit it well. You love the trajectory. And like Coach said, the rub of the green, it's in the divot.
But if it goes into one of the drainage systems in the middle of the fairway, you get a drop.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
And generally, the drainage is you've hit it this way, right? Not dead down the middle.
Yeah, Mickelson hit one in the water there on about, was it 14 or 15? And with 2 club lengths, he dropped it on the green.
Yeah.
And was able to 2-putt for his bogey, which was huge there. So, but that's the rules of golf. Fair for one, I guess. Fair for all. But sometimes, like I say in sports, the other guys don't play very well. And on the Golf Channel this morning, they were talking about how the wind set up perfectly for a lefty. He could hold it into the wind. It didn't take this or that. I don't know exactly what all they're talking about. But the guy said it was almost as if he was ordained to win that one.
Yeah.
The golf gods were smiling.
And nobody
on
saw
him.
that, right?
Yeah, the golf
Nobody saw
gods.
that coming, right? I mean, at that
Yeah.
age, and I heard the guys coming in this morning. I was
Yeah.
listening to some national radio. As a matter of fact, this year, Mickelson's highest finish on the regular tour, even though the Masters is its own tournament, he finished 21st at the Masters. So that was his highest finish with the regular, and his highest finish on the senior tour this year was 20th. So it wasn't like he was tearing it up anywhere, but it got together. And Mickelson got off to a slow start, right, on Thursday. He got off to a little bit of a slow start. I heard one of the guys on the national radio saying his first few holes, they showed Mickelson on TV Thursday, and the guy on the radio was saying, gosh, I kind of felt sorry for Phil. He had scuffled around a little bit. He said, man.
And when he three-putted the first hole yesterday,
Yeah.
the guy said this could be an omen of things
Yeah.
to come.
Yeah.
And then he birdied the next hole, I think, and Koepka double bogeyed.
And late.
So,
What hole-
you got to play them all. Yeah, play them all out.
What hole was it? And Shane, you may remember late in yesterday's round, Mickelson hits it into the cattails right there, into the water, right at the cattails. And he was in the water, and you thought, oh boy, he's trying to come home. He's trying to come home. And he had a tentative putt right there, too, on those last 3 or 4. It was almost like he stabbed at it, and he said, oh boy, oh boy. He kept his pace, though, didn't he? He kept his pace.
Really
He
good.
said, man, I'm doing this slow and easy, and I'm going to think it through, and I'm going to breathe. And he did it the whole round.
Yeah, I think, and Koepka plays fast.
Yeah.
I think, sometimes depends on who
Yeah.
you get paired with. It can kind of rub the guy the wrong way and take you out of your game.
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot of fun. Yesterday really set up well. You had the major in golf, and you had the special story with Mickelson. You had all that softball going on yesterday. It was a good weekend. And we're in for another 5 weeks. You've got the softball and the baseball overlapping. We're in for, the College World Series will go all the way through June 30th. So it'll take us right through June. Speaking of, Evan, if we can get the baseball, the SEC baseball tournament, I want to show people what's going on starting tomorrow. And it's a little small there, but I've got it here, guys. We can see. Tomorrow, the SEC starts in Hoover. The first top 4 seeds, they don't play tomorrow. So the bottom 8 play. Florida plays the first game against Kentucky, and that is a 9:30 first pitch Central, 10:30 Eastern. The first round, guys, is single elimination. So if you lose, you're done tomorrow. After tomorrow, it's all double elimination. Now, Florida's in the regionals. They're probably going to host one no matter what. I think Florida could lose tomorrow, and they're hosting a regional, not a super regional, a regional. The game tomorrow that I think really matters is Georgia. Georgia's sitting at 30-23. They play LSU. I think Georgia's got to win. If Georgia loses, I don't think they get an at-large bid. But it's unique. That's single elimination tomorrow. Then it goes double all the way through. Teams like Georgia, LSU, South Carolina, they need some wins. So they need to play deep into this thing. I mentioned it, Evan, thank you for that. We'll come right back to it. I mentioned last week my concern for the Gators right now, yes, they played a real good Arkansas team and they got swept. They lost the last game against Georgia. Florida's going to Hoover on a 4-game losing streak. You don't need to lose that first game, get sent home, and go to the regionals on a 5-game losing streak. They need to start playing a little bit better baseball. And I know they played a real good team, but they got to get Hickey swinging the bat a little bit, and you just don't want to go into a tournament on a 5-game losing streak.
That's true.
At all.
That's
At
true,
all.
you don't, but since it's happened,
Yeah.
you just have to say, hey, time out, fellas.
Yeah.
We lost to FSU a bunch of times, and we had the SEC championship next week.
Yeah.
And I never will forget, one writer said, Florida has proven that you could win, lose, or tie and still win the SEC.
Yeah.
After the week before, because
Yeah.
we tied FSU the game in '94.
Yeah.
So we did. We lost, we tied, and we won 3 SECs after that. So every week stands on its own merit, and I know Coach O'Sully would get those
Yeah.
guys in there and say, hey, whatever happens in the past is gone. We go from here now. It's a whole new playoff
Yeah.
season, and we got to raise our game, and we got a chance. You got to believe you have a chance,
Yeah.
and good things can happen.
I think what's happened, Shane, I'll throw this to you with regard to Florida baseball. I think we all overestimated them at the beginning of the year. They were the consensus #1 team. They're a good team, Shane. What I notice about Florida this year, they don't do anything really good, right? They're good, they're not great at any one thing. So when they're playing a good baseball team, they have very small margins for error. Florida doesn't pitch it great. They don't hit it great. They don't field it great. right? They just don't do anything that they hang their hat on, right?
Well, yeah, and when you think of Coach O'Sullivan's teams, ever since he's been here, he's based it on pitching and defense. And as you mentioned, we've booted the ball quite a bit this year, which is not characteristic of one of his teams. But, like Coach said, it all starts tomorrow. However, the SEC tournament doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's a new season once you get into postseason.
Yeah.
All right, guys, in honor of college baseball now getting deep into their playoff and college softball really deep into their playoffs now, I've got a trivia question I'm going to throw out to everybody, just for the heck of it. 2 trivia questions. We'll start with college baseball. College baseball, Pac-12 college baseball. Stay with me. Everybody out there, you play along. Here's the question. Tell me what current Pac-12 school does not field a baseball team?
Gee, Pac-12.
How about that? I came across this earlier in the week. Current Pac-12 team, and they haven't fielded a baseball team since 1979.
Oh, wow.
Current Pac-12
Washington
team.
State.
Washington State's the only one I can think of.
They play baseball.
They do play.
Colorado.
Colorado doesn't play.
The Colorado Buffaloes. Coach, I'm with you. I'm like, really? Wouldn't you think they'd play baseball? The word was in '79, it was financial. They said we got to drop some sports, and they dropped baseball, and they never added it.
I didn't know.
Colorado. Kind of the same kind of a question. Let's bring it to the SEC. Just have a little fun here with some trivia. SEC softball. Tell me what current SEC school doesn't play softball? They don't field a softball. Vanderbilt.
Okay, yeah.
Vanderbilt. Think about it. You've never seen Vanderbilt play softball. They don't field a softball team. Never thought of that.
I don't know why they don't.
Probably money. Probably money and Title IX, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's probably why, you think about it, Colorado baseball, I looked it up when I saw that last week. In '79, they dropped baseball. Well, remember, Title IX came in about '72, and you started having to have equal number of sports, right? They probably dropped baseball to help balance it out.
I have a question for Coach, because you probably know this. I had Chris Harry on my show today, and he wasn't sure, and you thought I figured he would know this. I was trying to figure out what sports have we not won a national title in. I know volleyball and women's basketball and lacrosse, because we just started lacrosse.
Just started lacrosse, yeah.
Can you think of any other? I think there's 2 or 3 more sports.
Yeah, because I thought I read Florida now with tennis has won 14 of 19, I think, something like that. They've won national titles in 14.
What are the 5 sports?
So you just named 3, right? You said lacrosse. What were the other ones?
Volleyball and women's basketball.
So there's 3, so we're close.
I don't know what the other 2 sports.
They've won a bunch of swimming, right? They've won a bunch of swimming.
Oh, yeah, men and women swimming.
They've won soccer.
Golf.
They've won men in golf.
Yeah, I don't know.
Woo!
I thought Coach would probably know that.
Coach.
Men's tennis just won.
Men's tennis. Women's tennis won a bunch.
They won
Won a bunch, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Anyway.
Cross country.
don't even
No,
know if
we've
run.
won. We may not have won cross country, but we've
Track.
won track and
Men's
indoor
and
track.
women's.
Indoor, men's and women's. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
but I did
that's
see
good
that
question.
Florida, what makes it impressive about the Gators overall athletic program, Florida doesn't, a lot of your California schools in Pac-12, because they play so many sports, they've won 100 national titles. Stanford and people, well, they play, Florida's like 19 or 20 sports.
Yeah, Stanford
Has
like
30,
low
31.
winning.
UCLA will have 33 sports. So they've won a bunch. What's impressive about Florida is they've won national titles in 14 different sports. It's not like Arkansas's won 25 in track. One sport just dominates. You know what I mean? Florida wins in a bunch of sports across the board. Gators bring national titles home. Very, very impressive. Somebody will know that and send us the answer. Coach, I know you wanted to go ahead.
Yeah, I was in
You were
Crescent Beach
Yeah.
last night, actually, 2 nights ago, after the tennis in Orlando. I said, Jay, we'll just drive to the beach and spend half a cent. So I always get the Jacksonville paper. So I'm reading Sam Kavaris' article about the Jags or football or college football, and all of a sudden I see my name in there. And somehow or another, he said that I said Ohio State was considered runner-up U. Ohio State, one of the biggest winners in the history of college football and all sports. And just to let those Jacksonville people out there know, I did not say that. Sam, you're mistaken. Somebody fed him some stuff that is simply not true. The biggest winners in college football, in my opinion, are the guys that dominate their conference. and Ohio State dominates the Big Ten. Got to give Alabama credit here. Got to give Clemson and Oklahoma theirs. Pac-12 out
Sure.
there, I'm not sure who dominates that.
Sure.
But those 4 schools are classified as winners. So those Jacksonville people, straighten out Sam. I did not say anything about runner-up. I never even referred to any school as a runner-up school. But I hate to correct guys because maybe it's not worth it. But anyway.
But the reference was to
Sam,
Ohio State.
Tell Sam he wrote something that wasn't true. all of you people that know Sam. Anyway, I got that off my chest.
There you go.
Right.
Coach, you got some stuff here before we get you out of here. Did you want to, you brought in some pretty neat stuff right there.
Well, this was for our restaurant. These were
Yeah.
just pictures. One thing, well, it started when you win a conference championship, you get a team picture in front of the scoreboard.
Yeah, there's Duke.
This was the first one at Duke in '89. And so, obviously, I told our guys here, Shane and the guys, when we win one, so we beat Kentucky up there.
I like it. Keep it right there.
In 1990. I don't know if you can see all that.
Pretty good, yeah.
But that was our team picture at Kentucky, 1990. Now, I know the SEC doesn't give us credit for it, but we won it anyway. And because these guys won it, it made it easy for these next guys to start winning them. And I guess officially this was the one in '91. And
That's
so
nice.
you take a team picture underneath the scoreboard when you win.
And
a
Coach, you
championship,
mentioned that
and
one
then
there.
all the rest of
You
them.
mentioned that one in '91, and that's at Florida Field.
Yeah.
Talk about that. You mentioned that will never be done again in the SEC at a home stadium.
Yeah, because now we have the championship game in Atlanta and have a playoff there. But this was a scary ball game, Shane, wasn't it?
Talk about it.
We're up 28-7 at halftime.
Against
and I don't know what
Kentucky,
happened.
right?
Yeah,
Cookie
and then some stuff started happening in that second half. I think they blocked a punt and got a touchdown. And then our defensive guys could not stop Pookie Jones. They sort of went in the jar a little bit. Next thing I knew, it was 28-26 with 7 minutes left.
Remember?
And our fans went completely dead.
Yeah.
I think FSU was playing Miami or something, and the people up in the lounges were all watching that game. It was a dead stadium, and we get the kickoff, and was it Esham got the penalty? Hands to the face mask. We had first and 25 or 30, and Shane hit 3 passes. We got to throw. We got to make first down. And Eric Rett caught the 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and we made the first down, and then we got the run game going, ran the clock out, scored. We ran it down to 1 minute, and when Eric scored, and we went up by 9 points to win it. But if we'd lost this game, Terry, you talk about chokers forever. University of Florida, they used to call us the chokers and the losers, and oh man, they would have had a field day if we'd have lost that game. So, in my opinion, it's one of the biggest wins we've ever had in school history, because that clinched the SEC. When we'd clobbered everybody all year, we were 35-point favorite over these Kentucky Gators, and almost really gave it away. So, but made about a 90-yard drive to clinch it. So that was a big win in the swamp.
Obviously, Coach, you at Florida, you had a lot of really good football teams. Shane, you played on a couple of really good football teams. I always thought that '91 team was really good. That was a good football team.
We beat Alabama 35-0, and we got them coming about the same time of year as in '91, second or third week.
And that was probably that first year that you 90 and '91. You beat Alabama, shut them out. Were just holding Auburn and Georgia back-to-back weeks, just punching them in the nose. I thought that '91 team, Coach, was really good, really talented football team. Obviously, you led them. Talk about that team real quick.
No, it was a very good team. I mean, that was the game we lost in Syracuse, right, Coach?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it started out bad with the reverse for a touchdown in the opening kickoff, and we had trouble stopping the option, and we didn't play great.
It was just one of those games.
One of those games, yeah.
But I always thought that '91 team was really good. That was just kind of that Syracuse team was good, not great. It was just one of those days. Everything was set up well. I always thought that team was really good, that '91 team.
It was.
Really good football team. Coach, we'll let you get out of here. What else we got? We got anything?
Well, it was always interesting, Terry, because we would play Georgia, about the 7th, 8th game of the season. And we usually came into that game first in the conference in offense and defense. I think we were in '90 and '91. I mean, we had a really good teams. And Georgia was like 8th or 10th in offense and defense.
Right.
and there was no reason in the world to expect a close game. And fortunately, we didn't have a close one until '92, when we weren't first in the conference in offense or defense, but we were up there pretty good. And Georgia was a lot better in '92. And
Yeah, it was a good Georgia team.
yeah, that was
real
big,
good Georgia
that was
team.
a big win because we beat one of their best teams there, and that enabled us to sort of get a little middle edge over the Bulldogs. That '92.
Coach,
game.
you've often mentioned to me, and I think we've got it on the air once or twice here, when Coach Dooley stepped down, '88, I think, when he finally retired, a lot of people, and you were one, that thought maybe Irk Russell was going to get that job. Obviously, they gave it to Ray Goff. How would Irk have done? You knew Irk and went back with him.
Oh,
How would he have done as the head dog if he got that job in '88?
Well, what did he do at Georgia Southern?
Yeah,
Won national
he got 'em going,
championships
didn't he?
and
Yeah.
so forth. Yeah.
How would Irk Russell have done it as the head coach at Georgia?
Well, obviously he was a winner down there, so he probably would have been a big winner at Georgia too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell those Bulldogs occasionally that what helped us was you guys didn't hire Irk Russell because he was a motivator, and a lot like our Gene Ellenson,
Yes.
our defensive coordinator when I played here, was the guy that could really get us ready to play. And I'd bring Coach Ellenson in for the big games, Florida, Georgia occasionally, and then the SEC championship games. So he was a master at motivating.
Yeah, always wondered if he'd have got that job, how he would have done. And well, they loved him. They loved him
In
there.
fact, Shane, he talked to the team before the FSU game of '91. We hadn't beaten those dudes in, 5 years or 6 years, something like that. And we'd never won 10 games in a season in school history. And I ran across that button and gave everybody another level.
Yeah.
We were fighting for
Take it to
another
another
level.
level,
And we hung on to beat them 14-9. It was a heck of a game. Not a lot of scoring, obviously, but it worked out.
Hell of a game.
Yeah.
That is Coach Steve Spurrier. We'll let him get about his business. Take a break, come back. Shane and I will bounce around a couple topics here. Take any of your Facebook Live comments. It is a Monday edition of College Sports Today. We're back after this timeout.
The good vibes. What? All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good
All the
vibes.
good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Let me take a moment to thank some of the wonderful sponsors that make College Sports Today with the head ball coach Steve Spurrier, Shane Matthews, and Terry Norvell possible. The official seafood restaurants of the show are Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach and their sister restaurants, Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant of Mayport and the new Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant location in Crescent Beach. The next time you crave the best seafood, the freshest seafood on the Northeast Florida coast, make sure you visit Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant in Mayport, Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, and Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant in Crescent Beach, the official seafood restaurants of College Sports Today. All-American Roll-Off and Recycling, serving your construction job and demolition project needs among their many other services. All-American Roll-Off and Recycling is ready to work with you on your next project anywhere throughout the Northeast Florida and surrounding areas. Visit their website, all-americanrolloff.com, or call them at 904-503-1410. Campus USA Credit Union. Find out what over 100,000 members already know. Visit a Campus USA Credit Union today and find out how they can work for you financially. If you would like to advertise your business right here on College Sports Today with Coach Spurrier, Shane Matthews, and me, Terry Norvell, then simply drop me an email at tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com, and I'll be sure to make that happen. Thanks again to our great show sponsors. Now let's get back to more College Sports Today.
Watch me, I come with me bad behavior. All because of this damn tequila. If you're boring, now come in here. Me and me friend them come fi take over. Hot girl here. In a we got in your own here. Come and know you expensive and dear. Walk out and show off, yeah, me dear. All the good vibes we had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. Watch out!
Hey, we are back. College sports today. Shane Matthews, Coach Spurrier has taken off. We got him out of here. He's got a lot going on. I want to thank all of our sponsors. You saw our commercials a moment ago. Thanks to all of these good guys that make it happen. Vida de Luis, the tequila, the official tequila of our program. Blanco, Añejo, Reposado, different flavors. It is all over restaurants and bars all over the state of Florida. If it's not in your favorite place, have them get a hold of VitaDeLuis.com. Get it in your favorite hangout. It is all over the state of Florida right now. There's a reason. Look for it. Call it out by name. Vida de Luis Tequila, Safe Harbor Seafood, 2 great locations, Mayport and Crescent Beach. All-American Roll-Off and Recycling. My buddies down at Sliders Oyster Bar was over there this past weekend. Rode bikes down on a Saturday, and a beautiful day, and hung out at that place for a while. And, of course, Campus USA Credit Union. If you want to become part of this show as a advertiser, as a sponsor, get your product and or service right here on the program via commercials and logos and things like that, we'll be glad to talk to you. Reach out to me. My name is right there, Terry. There's my email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, reach out to me. I'll get in touch with you, and we'll make it happen, your product or service business right here on the show with Coach Steve Spurrier, Shane Matthews, and me, Terry Norvell. A couple more housekeeping items for all of our podcast listeners, everybody that follows the show via podcast. I'm talking to you right now. We're on all the leading podcast platforms. If you can, when you get a second, as you're enjoying the podcast and following the show, make sure you remember to follow our show on Facebook, College Sports Today on Facebook. That'll help us out, of course. And also, if you've got a quick second, everybody, podcasters and Facebookers, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, College Sports Today on YouTube. Those things greatly help us grow the show. Shane Matthews, Terry Norwell, a couple more minutes. Bouncing around some different topics. We've gotten a lot of softball, a lot of baseball talk as those two sports are heating up. Had a lot of fun talking about the PGA yesterday. By the way, U.S. Open next month, of course, that Father's Day weekend, Torrey Pines, right?
Mm-hmm.
San Diego?
Mm-hmm.
You've bumped it around out there on that course?
I have not played that course.
Played a lot of that. Is that one of those courses, there's like 5 of them right there, big time?
There's a couple. It's open. It's a public course.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw it was owned by the city, I think, of San Diego, so high green fee, I would assume.
You know, I don't know the answer
No?
to that. I mean, I'm sure it's not cheap, but it's not Pebble Beach like.
I got you.
Green
I
fee.
got you. A couple topics here. Feel free if you've got some thoughts, questions, comments for us. Send it via our Facebook Live comment section. Evan, can you check our 1010XL? I'm having trouble finding where I can check it, but I know we had some people sending comments on our 1010XL Facebook page, and I wasn't checking it or didn't know how to, and people thought I was rude. Shane, college football for a moment. The college football pornography has hit the stands.
I saw that.
You know what that is, right? The college football pornography, the Athlons and Lindy's, they're out. I got to get by and buy me
Speaking
one.
of college football,
What you got?
I saw this and talked about it on my show today. What do you think the point spread is for Florida, Alabama? It's already come out in
It's
Vegas.
out, okay. They will put it much higher than I would put it. I think Florida might win the damn game. I know that. By the way, I am high as hell on Florida. I think Florida's going to be real good. The point spread, the Vegas boys would probably have Bama 13, 14,
15.
15. 15.
I was shocked. They have
That
us,
is high, isn't
They have
it?
us as an 8-point underdog to Georgia.
The Vegas boys, I could see that being the number. What do you think? What would you set Bama at? Bama Florida.
I was shocked at 15.
That is high, isn't it?
I probably would have it at like 9.
You brought it up. Alabama. Might this be the year they take? I know they're supposed to be real good on defense. Might they take a bit of a step back? Might they scuffle around on offense finally with all the newness?
They got some dudes though, man.
You know, brand new quarterback.
Well, they said that.
I know,
Yeah,
but might. That's why I said might, Shane.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
Might this be it? Are you high on Florida? I think Florida's going to play really good defense.
I think it's all going to come down to how the two transfers that came in on the D-line help.
The big guys,
Mhm.
Newkirk and what's his name, Shelton.
And then offensively, can we have a high completion percentage?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think we're going to have a high completion percentage, but we got to complete the throws that are there. Got to complete the easy throws.
Yeah, can't be a. You got mid-50s could get it done. 50% is not going to get it. He's got to be 56, 57%. He's not going to be a 68% guy, probably.
No, but I'm saying we
Yeah.
got to complete the
Yeah.
easy throws.
Emory Jones, let's assume. I think he's the guy. I love the fact that he's 21 years old. He's played in every big stadium. He's led meaningful drives. He's thrown nearly 100 passes. He's rushed nearly 100 times. I think he's going to put up big numbers. It's going to be different. I'll give you an example. Looked up some numbers over the weekend. De'Aaron King, athletic quarterback, not much of a passer. He threw for almost 2,700 yards, okay? Nearly 2,700 yards and ran for about 550. I certainly think if Emory Jones takes the majority of the snaps, he's the starting quarterback, and I think he will be at Florida. I think Emory Jones throws for 2,800 yards. I think he runs for 700 or 800 yards.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
And I think Florida has a talented football team. I know it sounds crazy and Gator Nation's rolling their eyes. I think Florida's loaded with defensive players. I thought they had a bunch of holes last year, and it was an offensive year. Florida wasn't great on the interior, as you pointed out in August. Florida's linebackers, Ventrell Miller's good here between the hash, if the play comes to him. The Amari Bernies and Jeremiah Moons, I don't think they've worked out. Mm-mm. I think Florida, or I have thought Florida, at both safety positions, have been atrocious for 2 or 3 years. I mean atrocious. Donovan Steiner couldn't play. Sean Davis, drafted average player in college. What do you think about Florida? I think Florida's going to be good on defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be much better. I think a lot of it, as I said earlier, depends on the defensive line. Secondary wise, you got Elam coming back. I haven't really looked at it. I haven't read one magazine. I don't even know our depth chart.
Yeah, Elam will be your bell cow in one corner. Jadon Hill, some guys trying out, and Florida just got a JUCO guy that they think is going to walk in and play, a Perkins kid. DeJuan Black played ball with him in JUCO, signed with Missouri a few months ago, and Florida got him 6'2", about 190. They think he's going to walk in and take a lot of snaps, get a lot of snaps. I think Florida's going to be good. I wanted to bring up the name Arch Manning, the latest Manning quarterback that's now a 5-star high school quarterback, I guess in New Orleans area?
Yeah, right there in New Orleans.
Which a lot of the Mannings have lived there, obviously. 5-star, what are you hearing about him? He may be the quarterback of the nation. He's supposed to be, obviously can name his school. What do you hear about? He's the son of?
Cooper Manning, the oldest boy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so his uncles are?
Peyton and Eli. Yeah, Cooper played wide receiver. I don't know if he's a walk-on or scholarship kid at Ole Miss, but had like a neck injury.
Yes, I remember that.
He's way more talented. Let me say this: he's way more athletic than both Eli and Peyton.
Gotcha.
Time will tell. I don't know where he's visiting. Does he have 2 more years or 1 more year of high school ball?
I think he's coming out. I think 1 more year of high school.
1 more year.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I would put I see him playing at one of these schools: Alabama, Clemson, LSU, or Texas. I think he will be at one of those schools.
I'm going to scratch LSU.
Why?
I think LSU's a mess. I don't think Orgeron will even be there next year.
Well, that may be a
Alabama,
blessing,
Clemson. I think he definitely has Alabama on his list. Ole Miss, Tennessee.
I don't see Ole Miss or Tennessee being in the mix.
Yeah.
Because they're not his style of offense. Their quarterbacks are really mobile and can kind of run. I mean, think about Corral and what Heupel's done.
Absolutely.
I don't think he's
and
not.
And you say he's a run guy.
Who?
Arch.
No. He's way more athletic.
But
than
not
Peyton, but he's not a.
Tuck it down and go.
No, he's a pure pocket passer.
I got you. Now, Texas would be intriguing.
Yeah, with Sarkisian.
Offensive guy, and, I don't know if young kids think like this, but man, somebody at some point is finally going to go to Texas and turn them around and be their new savior, right? I mean, that's attractive. You go to Texas and finally turn them around, and you get Texas in the college playoff. I mean, it's a legendary status.
Yeah.
And an offensive guy, and a real offensive guy. Before Coach Spurrier left earlier, at the end of our time with him, we got talking Florida, Georgia a little bit at the end. Coming out of Mississippi, I think I've asked you this before. What was your recollection, junior high, Shane Matthews Junior High, Shane Matthews High School in the Mississippi, in the state of Mississippi? What was your recollection of Florida, Georgia? Did you know much about it? Obviously, SEC you knew, obviously with your family.
I'd watched it, but it was nothing compared to the Egg Bowl.
Yeah, Egg Bowl, obviously. And your parents were Ole Miss.
Yep.
So you were SEC hard, but Florida, Georgia. And frankly, I've said this a million times, it's ticked people off. The Florida-Georgia series never got to this level, really this level nationally, because to get to this level nationally, both teams have to be really good at the same time. Florida-Georgia has had, it's been like this. Georgia, you know what I mean? You've got to overlap to make it a national game, and it rarely overlapped. But it was just a game. If it was on, and
I mean, I watched it.
if it was on TBS with Tim Foley, you watched it. If
Dan Neal,
Yeah.
or Bob Neal.
Bob Neal, I remember those guys. Oh, they were great. But you got to Florida via Galen Hall. Galen, was he your lead recruiter? He was the OC when you first.
He's the head coach.
Okay, yeah, he got it. Yeah, that's right.
There was a guy named Lynn Amity.
Oh, he's terrible.
Who was at Texas A&M because Jackie Sherrill recruited me hard
terrible.
at A&M, but he had a lot to do with me coming here.
Yeah, Amity. Was he the first Florida contact you had, or
No. Dan Brooks was the
Brooks.
was the recruiting coordinator in that area.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I don't really know why. It came down to Florida and LSU,
And you told
I
that
came
story.
close to going to LSU.
You were the heir apparent to Tommy Hodgson at LSU,
Yep.
and they threw it around a little bit at the time. Florida really wasn't throwing it around much.
No,
at
I
the
have
time.
no. Like I said, sometimes when you sit back and you figure out why you chose something, my decision made no sense.
Yeah. Your mom and dad, were they fine, Shane? We'll guide you. We'll give you advice, but it's your life.
Yeah, they both loved Florida.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to transfer a couple of years to go to Ole Miss, but they wouldn't allow me.
While you were trying to work your way up the depth chart.
Yeah, the first couple of years I was like,
So,
I need to go to Ole Miss. I can play there right away.
Rules and regulations with the portal back then.
I would have been long gone. Although they wouldn't have probably let me.
Yeah, would have been long gone. I know it's a tired topic, but I want to throw this out one more time, and I want to give you a couple thoughts that I have. And you and I are on the same page with regard to Tim Tebow. I think we're both of the opinion. I don't think he makes it. I'm not a hater. I like Tebow. You don't think he makes it. You're not a hater. I think
at all.
I hate the way.
I'm being realistic.
Absolutely. I hate the way, pun intended, that now, because of a bunch of national people, now if you utter the phrase, I don't think Tebow's going to make it, you're automatically a hater.
Yeah,
love
That's
Tim
not true
Tebow.
at all. I mean, we're paid to give our opinions.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've been in locker rooms. No, I'm no all-pro. I only started X amount of games in my 14 years, but I've seen it, how it works. And the only way he makes that team is if the management and the people, the coaching staff that are, when they sit down on that last cut day and say, okay, these are the 53 men, only 45 are going to dress out every Sunday. And you got to say, okay, well, if this guy gets hurt, we got to plug in, we got to put in another DB. Who is going to make this roster better? How can we win?
Yeah.
If he can do that, he'll make the roster. But I don't know how you can when you've never played a position.
And if he made the roster by that theory, it would be spot number, let me back up. Spot 1, 2, 3, and 4 takes up one, it's going to do one thing. That quarterback's going to play quarterback. He's not covering punts, right? That superstar wide receiver that most NFL players have, he's taking up one spot. He's a wide receiver. He's not covering punts and kickoffs and holding for extra points. if Tebow was to make it, he's going to get spot 44 or 45. It's got to do 3 or 4 things.
He's going to have to
right?
be able to play special teams. I don't know if he can.
Yeah.
I don't think he's fast enough.
Now, where I was going to go, and I know the Tebow thing is tired, and we just got to see it play out. What bugs me is the national narrative of privilege and getting handed something on a silver platter, and it is holding other guys down, and it's not fair. When I hear that national narrative, I just shake my head because, Shane, you've been in these camps for years. Every year in the NFL, just about every team signs what I call flyers. Tim Tebow's a flyer, right? Example, several years ago, some fat wrestling guy named Brock Lesnar got signed, right? He was a flyer. Somebody said, hey, this guy's a wrestler. He's 6'3", 280, strong as an ox. They signed him. Didn't make the team. Every year in the NFL at this time, there's a Brock Lesnar signed, a flyer. There's a rugby guy that gets signed and brought to camp, right? Just in case they can find magic. There's a European sprinter signed by an NFL team. That's what Tebow's signed as.
Right.
He's a flyer, right? But people think that Tim Tebow has been handed this. No. He's a flyer. His name is taken up 88 spot, 89 spot, 90 guys come in. Those last 3 or 4 are flyers. Am I right about that?
No, you're exactly right. Those people, his jersey sales are up in the top 5. You may want to wait till the season and the final roster is out. Now, even though the final roster, here's the other thing. Just because you make the first cut, you know what I'm saying? They play week 1 doesn't mean they're not going to cut you week 2.
Absolutely. So I think.
But I don't know if I would have bought a jersey.
I think what you're saying is, I think garage sale season goes on through about September, October.
Well, there may be collector's items. You never know.
Yeah. So you're saying you might see a garage sale item or two with 85 Tebow.
You could. I mean,
Tebow.
we could be wrong.
But
too.
you've heard the privilege, and this is
that's
wrong. And I'll just use Kaepernick's for example. People are saying Kaepernick, it's wrong. Tebow's getting a crack. Kaepernick's not. If Colin Kaepernick had his agent contact NFL teams and said, I want the Tebow deal, people would sign him. Now, the Tebow deal is go play a different position, and you got to make, right?
Here's the difference.
A third string,
Here's the difference.
different position. That's the Tebow deal.
Kaepernick is not going to sign for minimum salary.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Kaepernick, if you tell your agent to get on the horn and say, my guy wants to try the Tebow deal. The Tebow deal.
Which is not even changing positions. I'm saying if Kaepernick told his agents,
and the money,
I will go play for Team X for minimum salary, teams would sign him in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. But people think Tebow is getting a special deal and taking up a quarterback spot that could be Kaepernick. No. No. And Kaepernick, the deal he signed with the NFL, that settlement he got,
he doesn't need to play.
He doesn't need to play. But he could go theoretically get a Tebow special privilege deal. Tebow's special privilege deal is you're going to go try and learn a different position, be a third stringer making minimum salary, and good luck. Kaepernick could get that. But John Q. Public out there makes it seem like Tebow's getting a special deal that's taken away from a Kaepernick.
No.
It's crazy.
No, because he's not even going to line up at quarterback.
It's crazy. You think Kaepernick goes, well, they said I can go try and play slot receiver, and maybe I can be the 4th string guy at $900,000 a year, and his settlement with the NFL was, it's going to work its way out. But you're right. He's wearing 85. Did you see that? 85. 85. All right, brother. I'm just about out of stuff. Anything we're missing? Anything we need?
Nope.
We're ready to go. Word has it you were hitting the golf ball pretty well this weekend.
I'm getting ready to be 51, and I hit it as best I've ever hit it in my entire life, as long as I've hit it, or longer, and just a great ball striking day.
Now, when did that kick in? A week ago, 2 weeks ago, when you started really hitting on the screws?
No, just
doing it good? Yeah.
Off the first tee, banged it right deep down the middle, and it just continued all day.
And a little birdie tells me, Shane Matthews, you're not going to find him on the range working on
I don't
2s
practice.
and 3s and 4 irons and 5.
I do not practice at all. I think practicing is overrated.
Did you think Mickelson was going to finish it. You got a little loose there, 16, 17, 15, 16.
Well, I'll tell
Did you
you,
think he was
because
gonna
I
finish it?
love Koepka. I love his game.
Me too.
When he was tied or took the lead, I was like, it's over.
Yeah.
But he kind of sprayed it a little bit.
Yeah.
He butchered the par fives, which were so easy. I mean, he eagled several of them during the
And he's a
week.
long knocker.
Yeah,
too.
but he putted so poorly Saturday and Sunday. He didn't deserve to win.
You know, Coach took the words out of my mouth when we started talking about it before we went on the air. The guy I thought was one big putt away was
Oosthuizen.
Yeah, I thought he
Louis.
was Louis. I thought he was. He couldn't quite. His game was on yesterday.
And you know what? You're bigger than he is.
Is it really?
Oh, he's small.
Really? Did you agree though? I thought he was one busted in the jar putt away. I thought he hit the ball maybe better than anybody.
You know what's funny is, like, everybody thinks DJ, Dustin Johnson, is huge, and they think Koepka's huge. DJ's my size. Koepka's smaller than me.
Yeah.
I weigh more than Koepka.
Really?
And I'm about 3 inches taller than
What I
Koepka.
like about Koepka,
They look big on TV because
Yeah.
everybody's so damn small.
I agree. From when I've gone out with the players, sometimes you're going, God, that guy, I thought he was a 6'3"-ish,
Yeah, no.
long. No, he's not. What I like about Koepka, he's got that Sandlot street kind of, tough.
He's a guy that doesn't practice.
And he's tough, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's tough.
He's just naturally gifted.
I tell you one thing, it got loose, 10 and 11, bogey. He brought it back, went birdie, and he was one more putt too. He was one more putt, and it would have been real fun. But does that do anything for Tiger? Does Tiger? I've got to give it a shot. No.
I mean, I'm sure he wants to, but no,
Hmm.
he's got a lot more problems.
If you would have taken odds several years ago, who's going to win a major? One of these two is going to win a major at 50. Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson?
Ooh, I don't, that would be tough. I'll
Yeah.
probably lean towards Phil because of Phil's short game. I mean,
Is that right?
that
Okay.
doesn't go away.
Okay. Good point. That'll wrap it up. Speaking of going away, we've got to go away here on a Monday. Thanks so much for hanging out with us as a viewer. Again, you folks that follow the show on all the podcast platforms, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Remember to follow the show on Facebook and also subscribe to our show, our College Sports Today YouTube channel. That can greatly help our show, helps us grow the show. Thank you for everything you do. For the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, Shane Matthews, and Evan Miller producing, I'm Terry Norvell. Thanks for your time. We'll get back together Friday, 11 a.m. for the next edition of College Sports Today.